Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. On this episode, we are covering the Unlimited and the little brother, the U10, comparison, initial side-by-side overview between the two. Alright guys, I do apologize if my voice is a little raspy. It's been a long day. But we want to compare the similarities to start with on these two kayaks. They both have the tarpon drainage system. They both have the 360 Fusion swivel seat that spins all the way around, as you see there. They both have the same seat. They both have the 3-access wiring ports to bring out your wiring. You can see I have a switch there, and I also gained access in the front here for my navigational lights. So they both have the same access ports. They both have the same front handle. They both have the same side handle, which on each side matches on both kayaks, and is also a built-in paddle holder. You can see the recess right here. They both have the same back handle. They both have the same recess rod holders. So there's a lot of similarities between all this and your back hatch to get, gain access in the inside for your wiring, etc. The track layout is almost identical. It runs the full length on the U10, and you got your 2 tracks up front, which accepts your gear pod. If you don't have your gear pod, whatever you want to mount up there. Both of them have the higher track right there. They both have the lower track right here on your floor, where you can set a camera. You can set your fish finder right there and run it right through the scupper hole if you want for your transducer. And by the way, I forgot to mention, this is the thunderstorm color, and my original is the tundra color. So you're probably asking, why would I get the U10 over the Unlimited if they both are the same? Well, this is where the big changes happen on the U10. There is a ton of changes on the top part of your kayak. The whole cockpit area, the molding and everything is totally different, and we're gonna go over all those changes to the U10 over the Unlimited. And I forgot to mention too, I'm sorry, this also has your built-in pulley system with the cleat for your rear mounted motors, and the eyelets built right in. So they are very, very similar, but the differences are huge, and we're gonna go over those right now. So for starters, the U10 is 10 foot 10 inches long, and the Big Brother Unlimited is 12 foot 6 inches long. So that's a 20-inch difference in length. This is 20 inches shorter. On paper, this is 12 pounds lighter than its Big Brother. So 12 pounds is 12 pounds. You want to carry this around and make this your, throw and go kayak for the rivers, trying to drag it through the woods. 12 pounds makes a difference. And I'm sorry, I also forgot to mention that both of these kayaks can be set up for a tandem setup. They both have the same weight capacity. And if you're worried about being on a smaller kayak and you're saying, oh, this one ain't gonna have as much cockpit area, if you see where my seat is on this one, sorry about the shadows, I had to film this at a different location today, and you see the cockpit area, this one where your feet would sit in a chair, and if I had the gear pod on this, I'm gonna get on it real quick and show you. If my gear pod is sitting right here, I have plenty of room yet for my legs, and my foot control steering would be here for my motor, which I'm gonna be putting on this one and doing some water testing for you guys with the Torpedo. But you have, as a single person setup kayak, you have plenty of cockpit area, and I could also move the seat back. But if you look what I have here, and if you look what I had there on my original setup of my Unlimited, I had the same amount of room. So that 20 inches that you're losing is not in your cockpit area, so you don't have to worry about that. You're really losing your space in the tank well. And me personally, I don't run anything behind my black pack. And I'm going to show you the 16 by 16 in this one. But this is only where you're really losing that 20 inches of room, is back here. As you can see, if your black pack or your milk crate's sitting here, your hatch is right here. I have this area right here. Sometimes I throw flip-flops back there or something like that. That is it. But you still have room right here to throw some shoes on top of where the access port is. So that's really where you're losing your room. But you're gaining a smaller kayak and a lighter kayak to be able to maneuver around tight little coves a lot easier than you would with the Big Brother, the Unlimited. So this is where you can see the difference. I got my 16 by 16 in here, and this one's a 13 by 16 just because I had to get a smaller one to fit my Boondock landing gear set up on this. But you can see you'd still have the same availability to mount the same Boondocks landing gear right across this right here, but this would probably interfere with just this little thing, which we're going to go in a second about the differences. But I just wanted to show you where you're really losing your room on this kayak. It's not in the cockpit area, it's in the rear here. And you can see I can still swivel my seat around, and based on what I have here where my black pack's sitting, I can move this seat back about another 3 inches to still clear this, because I normally don't spin all the way around about as far as I go anyway. So I would need about like right there, so I can move the seat back about another 2 inches and give me the same amount of room as I do on the Unlimited Big Brother. All right, let's go into the U10 and where this thing really shines, and we're going to start right here in the back. See where the seat's positioned? See where the rod holders are? It's more within reach. Here, where these rod holders are, where my seat is now, I can't reach those back there. So you have already two built-in rod holders that are really technically accessible when you're set up as a single person. Now, as a tandem setup, I'd be able to reach those, but as most of us run these as a single person setup, those are unreachable. These are reachable. Here in the back tank well, you can see they put down some of the marine mat to dampen the sound. You don't have that on this. Is it a big deal? No, but this will definitely improve the sound when I'm banging inside my black pack, and it won't transfer right to the hull and scare the fish when I'm dropping things in there. So that padding will give you sound deadening. You may not think it's a lot, but it is. So if you're staging to go down a river, this is where the U10 has a huge advantage. As you can see, they have built-in reel and rod storage. You have the rod butt adjustable piece in the back depending on how long your rod is. I had this one facing up, but it can go the other way, and it runs straight down here. And you can see there's another one right next to it, so you can put two reels and rods on both sides, and they give you 6 indentations along this to stage your rods. And you can see there's 2 more right here, which runs to a molded butt section where you rest your butts of your rods underneath your seat. You know, I wouldn't run 6 anyway down a river, but there you have staging for 4 rods on your U10, and you can keep your feet on either side of the 2 rods in the middle. So that's a huge difference over the Big Brother Unlimited with this U10, is the availability to rod stage, especially when you're floating down a river and you have to avoid the trees. On the U10, you have these 2 sets of pads on either side, and if you're wondering what those are for your measuring board, your catch board, etc. And you can see the 26-inch fits right on the lower pad, and it has a little bit of stops. And I think this will also fit the new leaderboard 28-inch from Yak Attack, but don't hold me to that one. And then you have your upper ones for your 32-inch bar. So once again, you have a place to set your catch board down, has sound deadening, and it also keeps it from sliding around, so it lays right across in front of you when you go to measure your fish. So these items I'm pointing out with the rod staging, your measuring board holder slots for your 26 and your 32, and the availability to have your rods closer to your seat, is really the huge differences between these 2 upper parts of your cockpit. And to some people, this may be the selling point, to be able to stage your rods and not have a gear pod up front. But even if you did have a gear pod, you still have room to stage 2 rods on the outside of that gear pod, so they're not totally eliminating you with putting the gear pod in. So you still have the availability to stage 4 rods laying flat even with the gear pod. So this may be a big selling point to some of you guys. Now, will this be my primary rig over the Big Brother Unlimited? That I don't know. So I need you guys to stay tuned as I do the water testing, how I feel on this. Is it going to be more stable than the Nucanoe Unlimited? Is it going to run fast? You know, on paper, they say that this one is not as stable as the Big Brother. Makes sense because it's longer. They're also saying it's slower for the paddling aspect of it, because they say, you know, a longer kayak is faster than a shorter kayak. Well, we'll see. You know, this is going to be my personal opinion when I get on this for the paddle. And if I get on this with the motor and I'm substantially faster than the Unlimited, you know, it may be a selling point for myself to run this as my primary kayak over the Unlimited. This is just an overview. This is just the first initial comparison of these side by side. Until I get on it, I can't tell you my honest opinion yet. And another advantage of getting the U10 over the Big Brother is that this is $200 cheaper. So that $200 that you save on this, you could use for a gear pod. You could use for another reel and rod. So you want to save that $200, then, you know, go with the U10. But U10 may not be for everybody, but I think it will be, because it's the same thing as the Big Brother. It's just shorter. So really all you're losing is maybe a little bit of stability, maybe a little bit of paddling speed, and you're losing some of your tank well. But you are gaining the rod staging, you are gaining the deadening sound pad in the back for where your box sits. You're gaining the place to stage your catch board. So you are gaining a lot with the smaller brother than the Big Brother. I mean, it's simple little things, but it means a lot to some people. You know, even with the storage underneath here, it's a little bit bigger than, you know, where I keep my gear here. You know, I have room to stage a rod and also keep gear underneath it. So I can tell you right now, when I go up for the Kayak Adventure Series on the Susquehanna, I'm definitely gonna be running this boat with the Torpedo on it and having that rod staging availability, because when I go down the river up there, and there's not a lot of low-hanging trees really at the Susquehanna like there is in other rivers, I'm still gonna stage my rods around my gear pod, but I'll still be able to probably run some of my blackback anyway. I think this will definitely be the kayak I'll be running on the Susquehanna River, just for the simple fact that it's kind of set up for that. It's shorter. It's going to probably be able to handle the rapids a little bit better because it is shorter. It'll be a little bit more maneuverable, in my opinion, than me trying to take the 12'6" version, trying to do tighter turns. We'll see, guys, but overall, I love the new design of the top section of the U10 over the Unlimited. If I tell you right now, if they do this setup here on top and they incorporate that into the Unlimited itself, I think they'll sell. You know, I think they make this obsolete, bring this into this, and have two of the identical kayaks, just like Native does. They have the Titan, you know, X, they have the 10-foot 6 version, right? And they have the 12-foot or 13, whatever it is, you know, Big Brother version. It's the exact same kayak, it's just shorter. So I think they should do the same thing with this, to this, make this mold obsolete, and just sell a smaller and a bigger version. I mean, in my opinion, I think the Unlimited is the top dog of the Nucanoe family. You know, the Flint and all that and the Pursuit are nice. They're a little bit different setup, but these are my favorite kayaks. That's why I'm running them, and that's why I have another. I just want to do a little side-by-side comparison video and show you guys the differences and the similarities. Now, will I make this my primary kayak? I don't know yet until I get on the water to give you my opinion and how I feel on it. They didn't make a mistake making the U10. It's smart making a smaller version of a bigger brother, in my opinion, because a lot of people are smaller built people and they want that smaller vessel to be on because they don't need the gigantic 14, 13-foot kayaks. They like those small ones. A lot of people I know run 10-foot kayaks and they love them. I just never personally been on one, so this will be my first time being on a 10-foot size kayak, so I think I'm going to like it myself too. We'll see if I make it my primary. Just from the beginning here, seeing the new upgrades to the U10, I really like it, and they definitely didn't do a mistake. So at the end of the year, we're gonna do something really special with this kayak, and it means something special to me, so I really look forward to doing that towards the end of the year. So you guys stay tuned to the channel, you'll see what actually happens with the U10 at the end of the year. So we're really excited about that. They definitely didn't make a mistake. I think it's gonna be a great selling kayak. I know they can't keep them in stock at the dealerships. You can see if you watch the previous video where I went up to Big Adventures to pick it up, they're making them. As soon as they make them, they're on a truck, they're getting wrapped and sent out, so they can't keep up with the demand. So that tells you that people want them. Even if people haven't tried them in person, they're still ordering them and getting them before they even been on them. So that tells you that people have confidence in the Nucanoe Unlimited line, that they're gonna love it, and they just like that smaller platform. So hope you guys like this video. Like I said, it was just a quick little comparison, side by side differences and similarities, and that's it, guys. So as always, be safe on the water, and I'll catch you in the water. Stay tuned for on the water testing with this, with the Torqeedo next.